The United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
You can't. Oh, a lot of us can't handle the truth. Not just whoever Jack Nicholson was talking to. Y'all remember, I think it was A Few Good Men, the movie. Tom Cruise was, Jack Nicholson was on the stand. I'm surprised they didn't come after me for that yet. But anyway, everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining me. It's Ron Kelly, the Talk Radio program, and it's on all over the place. There's a YouTube page, The Ron Kelly Show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, blogtalkradio.com, LA Talk Radio, all over the place. So welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me for another Thursday. Tonight's the big night. It's the big night. Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions for all you football fans. And I'll definitely be watching. As soon as this show is over, I am out of here. Headed to the spot to watch the game and talk nonsense at the Cigar Lounge, where I hang out at every now and again. Anyway, everybody, welcome. It's Ron Kelly's Talk Radio Show. It's December 4th already, so if you think you better start getting that Christmas shopping going, because it's already the 4th of December. And boy, I'm so glad the kids are grown now, so they don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of toys. I remember those days. And I kind of miss and I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I kind of miss the going to shopping in the middle of the night. I remember doing that. It wasn't that long ago until internet just took over everything. But I kind of miss waiting outside the store and and the fights and and all the craziness and drama. I miss that. They seem to bring that back and make people go out and shop instead of going online. And I miss the lies that people would tell about. They have a super, absolutely fabulous sale where they have like a 100-inch screen for $30, but they forget to tell you they only had one. So you're going there thinking you're going to get that big deal, and that was just to suck you in there. So I miss all that. I miss going to the shopping in the middle of the night, trying to find a parking space at 3 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the Walmart to open. Everybody was rushing in there, stampeding each other. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I miss that. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot easier now. And the only problem for now is, it depends on where you live. Like, where I live, they got security, and the buildings are way off the street. So you have to walk about 2 blocks to get to the building from off the street if you're walking. So it's highly unlikely that anybody's going to steal our packages. So that's part of the problem, online shopping, that somebody might steal your package off the things. So what's this world coming to? You can't even go get a package. Anyway, everybody, it's a couple minutes, 5 minutes past the hour. It's Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Nice talking to you today, Sean Williams, who I may open up a can of worms. We'll get to that. But she's a firebrand, and she's definitely somebody that the city of Paterson and beyond can use. And we talked about doing some things, collaboration. So look out for that. As we glue it together, and can we glue it together? Because I talked to her. Always a pleasure talking to her. We need a lot more people like her. And when we talked a lot about unity in the community. That's because you can't spell community without the word unity. But so I guess we just live in the same neighborhood, because it definitely is not a community. Anyway, we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes as well. If and getting back to the online shopping, I guess they have these lockers now where you go to the supermarket. I think I saw in Newark, there's one right outside the police station. And that's a damn shame that you have to go to those great lengths just to keep your package from getting taken. That's shameful. But you know, if you go online, if you go on like TikTok or some of the other social media outlets, and they have like they have the packages that the people that steal the package. I don't know if it's made up or anything like that, where the people are trying to steal a package and the package blows up when they get to their car. That's hilarious too. Anyway, everybody, let's get down to business. It's 6 minutes after the hour. It's a Ron Kelly Talk Radio program for Thursday, December the 4th of 2025. Boy, it's 2026, right around the corner. I still remember what I did on New Year's Eve. So the time seemed like it's like God has his foot on the pedal. Seems like time is really flying past. But anyway, everybody, it's me, yours truly, Ron Kelly, the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, all over the social media spectrum. So whatever you don't have, if you don't have Facebook, you can go on LinkedIn, YouTube. If you don't have YouTube, you can go on LinkedIn, Facebook, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Anyway, let's get down to business right here on the Ron Kelly Show. Good evening to Arnetta Marshall. Good evening. Arnetta Marshall from Maryland, Governor Westmore, the only black, Governor Westmore of Maryland, the only black governor in the entire United States of America. Now try to wrap your head around that. Westmore, the governor of Maryland, is the only black governor in the United States of America. Now, I mean, what the hell? You know, one black governor, all the black folks that live in America, and there's only one black governor, Westmore, the only one. Just unbelievable. Just a crying shame that there's only one black governor in all of America, the 51 states. Just unbelievable. Yeah, I guess referring back to what I said about, it's about gift cards now. You know, people don't give you stuff. Well, I'll get back to that. People don't give you stuff. I guess a lot of us buy because we have to. We feel like we have to. Not that we really want to, but we feel like we have to. Shout out to Sean Williams. Yes, it was a pleasure. Sean is a little bit under the weather. We'll catch up with her on another edition of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Always a great conversation. She's somebody who is motivated. And, you know, and we soft when it comes to people who speak their mind. You know, we're very soft, you know, black folks. We like to get mad. And see, we don't get mad and we don't get mad, and not to kick our backs in, because I love my people, and I wish we could do better. But, see, we get mad at each other, and we stay mad, you know. Now, other ethnic groups, white folks in particular, could hate each other. White folks can hate each other, but you know, and they'll say, okay, look, I hate you, but we, you know, if this neighborhood is flooding over and over again, I might not like you, but I'm gonna deal with you because we got a problem to fix, and it's gonna take all of us to fix this problem. So the white folks will not stay mad at each other, or they'll have a peace deal, a powwow, and they'll come together and say, okay, look, I don't like you, but you know, you're part of this neighborhood, you're part of the community, every voice counts. So I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna work with you, and maybe I'll go back to not liking you after this, but for right now, I'm gonna work with you. But us, black folks, you know, they the mafia, you know, used to hear it on The Sopranos, where they would say, "You're dead to me," you know. And with black folks, when we get mad at each other, you're dead to me. We just don't want to deal with each other anymore. We're dead. You know, we get mad, and not just, you know, across the board, in all types of relationships. You know, we get mad at each other. You know, I'm right and you're wrong. There's no middle ground. There's no, maybe we can work things out. No, because I've been and a member of several different civic organizations where the organization did not last because one faction wanted one person to be the head and another faction in the group wanted somebody else to be the head. So the problem got lost and the organization didn't survive. Why? Because it didn't have any unity. That's why it didn't survive. You know, Sean Williams, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. She also says she's clearly about the people and not for herself. We need more people. Yeah, we need more of our people to take the lead. We need more of our people to take the lead. I'll get back to that in a second. But now, did you see, and it's not the biggest surprise, you know, I wasn't really surprised. You know, when I hear Trump, Trump is the president of the United States. So you can't just ignore him. You have to pay some kind of attention to him because he's the president. And he's in charge of a lot of weapons of mass destruction. So we definitely have to pay attention to the president. And during his press conference, I was trying to download I'm going to learn how to use this downloader thing one of these days. But I was trying to download the video. I'm sure, I'm fairly certain most of you saw the video of Trump, talking about Ilhan Omar, the Somalian woman, who is a representative of there's a section of Minnesota that's largely Somalian. And Trump, and he went on the other day, yesterday I believe it was, and talked about the Somalian people like they were scum. It was awful. It was terrible what he said about the Somalian people. But see, I'm not so much surprised about it because this is what Trump does, but it was awful. The people are garbage, he says. The country is garbage, the people are garbage. And, and it's not like, it's not like Trump is the first president to think of another country as being garbage. But he's the first one that's actually coming out and saying it, And he said that Ilhan Omar, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who's a representative in Minnesota, congresswoman, said she should go back to where she came from. Now, how many times have we heard that we should go back where we came from? How many times have we heard that? Y'all need to go back where y'all came from. And this is what he said yesterday. You can look it up. I don't have it here on my screen, but you can look it up. And this is what he said. And he said that Somalia is garbage, that the country is garbage, that the people are garbage. And see, this is who you voted for, black folks, for Trump. This is who you voted for, Latinos for Trump, seniors for Trump, all these groups that came out in force on election day last year and made sure I don't even want to say, I don't want the Secret Service knocking on my door. I won't be here if they do. But this is what it was said. And see, he said that about the Somalians, that they're garbage, that they need to go back where they came from. And see, it's Sean Williams. I'll get to your comments in a minute. But see, I'm not surprised by this because this is what true Trump is. And I still, even though he was elected a year ago, I still don't understand why, I still don't understand it. I don't understand how any minority individual can vote for Trump. You see the one gentleman who was the head of the Trump Latinos for Trump? Where's he? You see him getting dragged off and deported. And even a relative of the Trump press secretary, a relative of a relative, got snatched up. You see, because what they do is they wait for people to go, they encourage people to go to court immigration court and make sure their claim is in order. And then when they get there, they scoop them up. But this is what y'all voted for. This is what all of y'all voted for. All you Trump supporters, black folks, how could you not know? You see, in his last administration, how many black people were in his cabinet? None. One. And where? In HUD. That's where they put the black people in HUD. Oh, he can't do nothing wrong here, because Trump and many Americans in high places don't trust black people to be intelligent enough to run the FBI or the CIA, Secret Service, Defense Department, Secretary of State, National Security Advisor. The last black one was the lady. I can't think of her name right now. Under George Bush, but she was the Secretary of State. So I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised at all by this. And see the people now. Now you see the No King's Day. No King's Day. Those are the people who voted for Trump. The buyer's remorse. Survivor's remorse is more like it, but the buyer's remorse. And now they're all, going out, and it's mostly white folks. You don't see any black people at those No King's Day rallies. None. And a lot of them that I've noticed that were here in New Jersey anyway, are in well-to-do neighborhoods. Paramus, 99% white. Montclair, New Jersey, wealthy white town. Bloomfield, another white area. And that's what you see in these, standing on overpasses. These are you see white folks. Because they're the ones that voted for Trump, and now they're all, now they're all with these No King's Days. You knew. What rock did you crawl out from under? You knew. You knew what he was going to do. Everybody knew it. What Trump was going to do. And now you want to do this No King's Day stuff. Too late. You're stuck with him until 2028. So he'll be here next year and the following year. If he survives, if he lives. I'll get to that MRI nonsense in a minute. Cloak and daggers, secrecy. I'll get to that a little bit later on in the program. But for now, I'll get to Sean Williams' comments in just a minute. We'll take a break and we'll come right back with more of this program. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Right, everybody, we are back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. 908-753-6423. That's 908-753-6423 is where you can find the safest, most reliable transportation in the state of New Jersey. American Porterfield Transportation for 45 years, since 1980, just a few years after I was born. Uh, for 45 years, American Porterfield Transportation has been your source for safe and reliable transportation to and from your destination. School districts, private transportation, field trips, school trips, family reunions, casino outings, you name it, American Porterfield can handle it. Just give them a call, 908-753-6423. That's 908-753-6423. They're located in the Queen City, they call it, Plainfield, New Jersey. So, yeah, go on over there, 908-753-6423, 908-753-6423, or you can email them. It's amaker.porterfield@verizon.net. That's amaker.porterfield@verizon.net. Amaker and Porterfield is your choice, your source for safe, reliable transportation to and from your destination. Okay, it's 22 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. All across the social media spectrum, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and blogtalkradio.com, the Ron Kelly Show.com. Okay, let's go to the phone. Well, not the phones, but okay. Now, Sean Williamson, I'm not sure who she is. She's not she clearly is. I'm not sure who that is. You have to be a little bit more specific, Sean, unless I backtrack too far back. She says she clearly about the people and not for herself. We need more of our people to say, well, yeah, we do. We do. And then see, we fall for the okey doke, like this past election. Another white person, Mikey Sherrill. I got nothing against the woman, you know. Served in the Navy, was a helicopter pilot, lawyer, you know, all the bells and whistles. But what happened? What happened to the mayor of Newark, Ras Baraka? Was it, you know, was it the campaign? Did they just, you know, did he not, you know, because you campaign for governor of the state of New Jersey, you campaign for statewide office, you got to go all the way down to the end of New Jersey, Cape May, all the way down there and all the way back. Because you're not going to win a statewide race unless you go down there and get with those white folks or those folks down there and, you know, way down there, Atlantic City and some of those other places. You got to go down there, Seaside Heights, you know, Colts Neck. You got to get down there. You got to get with some of those people. So I don't know if it was his campaign. He just campaigned up here too much because, you know, just campaigning in Newark wasn't going to get it. Sean Williams says, in order for us to move forward, we first have to fix the issues that presently arise when we try and come together. There's too much hate. Well, yeah. Yeah, see, this is stuff that we know. You know, this isn't like revelation. This is stuff that we know. This is stuff that we know. We know that there's division and hate in our own neighborhoods. You know, because you cry about the Chinese restaurants, for example. Oh, there's too many Chinese restaurants in the hood. Oh, there's too many liquor stores in the hood. Well, who's buying the liquor? Who's buying the liquor? That store wouldn't be there if it wasn't getting, if people weren't, you know, those liquor stores last for years, decades, because people are going in there and they're buying liquor. You know, so that's why these places survive. You look at the Chinese restaurants. Nothing against Chinese people. They're trying to make a living. But see, that money goes right out of the community. When they pull their steel gate down, I don't know if they take the money at night. Maybe they take it during the day. They probably don't take it out of there at night. That money goes right out of the community. Right out of the community. Yeah. See, this is why all other races are moving ahead. Yeah, it was. Yeah. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. With us. That we let personalities come before principles. And like I said, when we don't like each other, we hate each other forever. I don't like you. And there's no falling back from that. We hate each other. We don't like each other. That's it. You're dead to me. You don't even exist. Now, I don't know who she is. Sean Williams says she does not represent us as Black Americans. At some point, we have to filter out those who use Black Americans under the guise of Black unity and then turn around and disregard and disrespect us after they get our vote. And yes, I voted for Trump. Well, you got beat. you got beat. See, because you of all people, Sean Williams, should have known. You didn't know who Trump was. I mean, what was the issue with that? You didn't know who he was? Did you voted for Trump? Why? Why? You really think that Donald Trump was going to represent your interests? After years of him, since he glided down the golden elevator that day and talked about Mexicans? They lump us all in the same category. Somalians, black folks, Black Americans, Mexicans. We're like the mud people. We still are. I can't believe that you voted for Trump. Unbelievable. While the outer chit chat was being mentioned about blacks being thrust into bondage, they ran to the polls, microphones, and shouted from the mountaintops, Latinos for Trump, as long as they thought we were going to be enslaved again. Well, you see, everybody, I can't even say that you got beat. I can't even say that you got beat. So you're saying that you knew who Trump was? Oh boy, oh boy. Let me bank something. You knew who Trump was and you still voted for him. Is that what, don't tell me that that's what you're saying. Because that's just unbelievable. In reference to the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, I don't know if he's see now this is where I disagree. These people, the problem with politics, and I studied politics in school. The problem with politics is, you could be an activist. Look how, although he never won political office, but look at Reverend Al Sharpton, for example. Reverend Al. Reverend Al was an activist in the beginning. When he was fat, he was an activist. Running around with the girl who they said, I forget her name, somebody, you can post it, who said that she was raped by the police, and she wasn't. And back then, Reverend Al was an activist. When he went to jail for 60 days in Puerto Rico for going out there and protesting for the Puerto Ricans, and he went to jail. In Vieques, I believe the place was, Vieques, and in Puerto Rico, Reverend Al got arrested. It did 2 months. See, Reverend Al was an activist back then. He was an activist, And then when he started he started running for office, ran for presidency of the United States. I mean, there was no chance he was going to win, but ran for the presidency of the United States of America. See, and as Reverend Al Sharpton, after he got past that girl, the young girl, who said she was raped. I can't think of her name. And once Reverend Al Sharpton, for example, started to move into the limelight, that's when the activism stopped. That's when the activism stopped. Because everybody hated Reverend Al for what he did with that girl. Hated him. Yeah, Tawana Brawley, thank you. Yeah, Tawana Brawley. And as Reverend Al Sharpton started moving away from the Tawana Brawley case, the activism kind of slowed down. You see, because what people have to understand is that when these people when these people move into these positions, and locally, Paterson, all across the United States of America, when black folks move into these positions, they stop being activists. Because you can't just say anything you want to say anymore. Because there's other people you have to work with. I'm not making excuses for them, but there's other people that you have to work with. You had election. You had an election for the 35th district, assembly person, and his brother Kenyatta Stewart. I don't know him, but he won allegedly. Before I go any further, I should say that the views and opinions expressed here are exclusively those of myself and R. Kelly and Media Enterprise LLC, and they are not those of my advertisers or my support team or anybody who has anything to do with the Ron Kelly Show. Thank you so much. So, but you just had, for example, I'll get back to the national stuff for my people who are not local, that don't live in New Jersey. Well, let me just say this. You had Kenyatta Stewart, somebody who came out of nowhere and ran for the assembly and won. Well, congratulations. But whatever he was saying while he was running, he's not going to say that now. He's not going to say that now. Look what happened to Joy Reid, for example. And she wasn't an elected official, but look what happened to Joy Reid, MSNBC. Joy Reid was saying some stuff that some people didn't like, and you see what happened. She lost her show. Now she's on YouTube. And the people who replaced her had lower ratings than she had. Not even close. But Joy Reid was getting gully, and some people didn't like what she was saying. And guess what? She got the boot. Because it wasn't that her show didn't have any ratings. Her show had ratings. Her show had good ratings. And The Weeknd, whatever it is, they got 3 people doing that show, doing that time slot now. The ratings are nowhere near hers. She was one of the top people at MSNBC. It's called MS Now, something like that now. Yeah, so, and she started saying some stuff, and some people was like, we don't, you need to get rid of her. So Joy Reid got the boot. She got the boot. And the brother from CNN, I'm just lost tonight. I should have wrote his name down. Here's another one, got the boot. He started saying some stuff. And he got the boot. So when these black folks get these in these offices, they gotta tone it down. Because the white folks are still in power, even though you might be black and you're only one person. And you got to work with other people. So you can't be saying that kind of stuff, and then you got to work with people from Bergen County. You can't be talking that white person stuff when you're dealing with people who are elected officials from like Bergen County, where all the rich folks live. It's the top 5 richest counties in the country. So you got to change how you talk, and Kenyatta Stewart will change how he's been talking too, just like everybody else who runs for office and makes it. You gotta chill out. So Sean Williams says that the governor of Maryland is a puppet. I think that's what she said. That that West is a puppet. Westmore. And Roz. See, but it's not about being a puppet, though. It's not about being a puppet. Because once you cross into that elected official position, you got to tone it down. He can go through Newark and talk grimy, but when he goes to other areas, you got to tone that down. White folks don't like that. They don't want to hear it. So you can't be a black elected official and go to a white area and start talking about slavery. No. Newark, for example, Joe DiVincenzo is the Tony Soprano of Essex County. So he's got to be your friend. If he's not your friend, you're going to be dead in the water. I don't mean dead physically, but in these areas, in politics, you can't say the stuff you used to say. People change. As soon as they cross into that political spectrum, they change. As soon as they cross into that political spectrum, they change. It's about being a wingman for the masses, because as of now, we are the monopoly. And see, let me take a break. Let me drink a little water. Take a break. Come back with more of this program. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, LA Talk Radio, and the RonKellyShow.com. All right, we are back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on everywhere. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, LA Talk Radio, Blog Talk Radio, all over the political, all over the social media spectrum. Oh boy, and we are back, everybody. I'm getting a little nervous tonight. It's the night. It's the big game. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions on a Thursday night football. Do or die for both. You win, you live. You lose, you die. Anyway, it's about 20 minutes before the hour. Yeah, and see, you know, and wingman for the man. But see, again, see, a lot of people don't understand. I've been a political analyst, and people don't understand politics. You know, some people not saying Sean Williams or anybody who listens to the Ron Kelly Talk Radio show, but people don't understand politics. And you can't say the stuff that you said to run. You can't say that. You know. And it's not necessarily about being a puppet, Sean Williams. It's not about being a puppet per se. It's that when you cross into that political position, you have to get in line. You can't be saying certain stuff. You can't say certain stuff. You know, see, the only black person there was a threat to white folks was Dr. Martin Luther King. He was the only one. Nobody's trying to kill Drew now Sharpton. You know. And we talk about Malcolm X. We don't know what happened with Malcolm X. But nobody wanted to kill Elijah Muhammad. You know. Now, did they go after the Black Panthers? I believe so, because the Black Panthers were a threat as a whole, but Dr. Martin Luther King was one singular person that black folks was afraid of. I mean, the white folks was afraid of. Because Dr. Martin Luther King preached unity and for everybody to be together, black folks and white folks. White folks was like, oh no, we can't have that. You know, we got to put this Negro down, and they did. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King folded and talked about what white folks thought he should have talked about, he probably would have lived. But because he spoke out, you know, that's one thing that white folks didn't want to be, you know, little white kids and little black. They ain't want that. Not most of them. They're like, nah, we not having that. You know, but these Jesse Jackson and some of these other folks, nobody's trying to kill them because they're not a threat. They're not considered a threat to the powers that be here in the United States of America. But like I said, it's not about being a puppet. It's about when you cross into that line. I know I said this a couple of times. I'm killing myself with this. But when you cross into that political spectrum, you got to watch what you say. Because you're never going to get anything done. You got to work with other people. There's hundreds of assembly people in the state of New Jersey, for example. Hundreds. And, you know, you're going to have to, one hand washes the other in these groups. In the Congress, United States Senate, United States Congress, assemblies and senates, state assemblymen, state senators all across America, they all have to have to work together. You ain't get nothing done if nobody likes you. You know. So you vote for my program, I'll vote for your program. That's how it is. That's the only way it works. One person alone is not going to be able to get the job done. So when somebody runs for office and they tell you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, they're a damn lie, because you ain't going to do nothing without those other people voting for whatever it is that you want. Sean Williams says, no disrespect to anyone, but when I cast my vote for any politician, I'm looking for them to have the same energy and keep the promises made to the people while they were out campaigning. Now, that's exactly what happens, though. They once they gonna get gully and gonna get grimy, talk about the system and slavery and all kinds of stuff. But when it comes to but once they get that spot, that's it. Once they get that spot, now I'm good. I can't say what I've been saying. All the promises I make, I may not be able to keep them because I got to get the other assemblymen. If you're a state senator, you got to get the other state senators. When you put something on the floor, you're going to have to vote for somebody else's stuff, even if you didn't like it. That's how it works. So it's not necessarily about being a puppet. It's about, doing what you need to do. That's what it's about. It's about working with other people. And so, and they know this. They know this. Siobhan DeSumter, why do you think she stepped down? Siobhan DeSumter stepped down. It's like, enough is enough. Now, do I know why she stepped down? No, not specifically. But Siobhan DeSumter could have kept that seat forever. And she a friend of the Ron Kelly show. She's been here several times. Benji Wimberly too. But see what happened when they went for. Everybody thought that Benji Wimberly was going to be the next congressman after Bill Pascrell died. Nope. So they knew it wasn't going to be theirs because of the Democratic Party in Passaic County voted for somebody else who likes to take pictures. Annette Marshall says it's all a bargaining tool. You got this, I got that. I want this, you want that. You give me this, I'll give you that. Yeah, and this is what it is. This is exactly what it is. Thank you for that, Annette Marshall. That's exactly what it is. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. So it's not that they understand once they get in there. They understand once they get in there that they have to do what they have to do. You can't be who you was. You gotta chill out. Because the white folks are still, hold the power in a lot of these state senates and state assemblies. So now you go on talking to me, if you was talking about reparations when you was running, when you get in there, you got to stop talking about that. And this is what happens. That's why the Congressional Black Caucus and some of these other organizations don't really have no power. Look at Hakeem Jeffries, who's the House Democratic leader. No, I mean, I wouldn't say he's worthless, but I don't see nothing coming from him. He kind of it looks like he's just waiting for the Congress so he can become majority leader. So politics, as Annette Marshall said, that's what it is. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Help me out, I'll help you out. That's what it's about. So people get all, congratulations to Valerie Freeman. Valerie Freeman, who won a seat, in the Paterson School Board. Supposed to be some big celebration going on tomorrow. Good for her. Now, it's a smaller organization, so, maybe she'll be able to she won't have to scratch as many backs. But yeah, she, but see, like I said, when people, and she got all these votes, she probably could have ran for mayor. Who knows? If she got 10,000 votes, is what they're saying, then maybe she could have ran for mayor. But to wrap it up, though, 10 minutes before the hour, 9 minutes before the hour, this is what politics is about. So we need to understand that. So you can't vote for anybody. We vote for people for what they said in there while they were running, not for what they do, because more than likely they're not, even the president of the United States, more than likely they're not going to be able to do what they say. What they say is ideas. That's what that is. But now, are they going to do it? Look at Barack Obama. Everybody's hating on Barack Obama. Oh, he ain't do nothing for black people. Black people don't do nothing for black people. Black people don't do nothing for black people. Because we're the first one. You see when there's a fight on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, what the black folks do? We break out those phones. Because we want to put that fight, while these two people are beating each other's brains out, we want to put that fight on TikTok so we can get some likes. And I understand that, you don't want to get involved, but some of these people know these people. I mean, if it's a big brawl, like a riot, no, you don't want to get in the middle of that. But the first thing we do is pop out those phones. And all the videos you see of people fighting, people running in stores and running out, white people don't do that. And even if they did, it's no excuse. Because that's the first thing we say. Oh, well, they do it too. So why? Really? Monkey see, monkey do? Is that what it is? Just because somebody else does something don't mean we have to do it. And again, like I was saying, when I go through the hood, believe you me, I'm prepared, to put it mildly. And why I got to feel like that going through my own neighborhood with black folks? Why I got to feel like that way on Temple Street, Presidential Boulevard, Broadway, Main Street? Why I got to feel like that? I go in a white neighborhood, I don't even think twice about getting hurt. Now, I don't worry about the police shooting me or nothing like that. And I love my people. Don't get me wrong. I love my people. I love being black, being a black man. Love it. But we got to get it together, y'all. Because a lot of these things white people be saying about us is true. We talk about the SNAP program, people going on SNAP. Oh, everybody. I was talking to Sean earlier. Every one of us knows somebody who sells stamps. Every one of us. There ain't a black person in America that don't know somebody who sells food stamps. I worked at the Superfresh in Irvington, New Jersey, Lyons Avenue, back in the day a few years ago. They be coming out there with lobster tails and stuff. I mean, come on. Why is you buying lobster tails? Is you trying to be something that you're not? And that's what we do. It's got to be the bling bling. We rap about cars and money and coochie, killing, disrespecting women. That's what, and our kids be like bouncing to that stuff. Now, I'm not saying all rap is bad, but our kids be bouncing to that. Lil Wayne and all these people. Rick Ross. And the kids is eating it up. So I'm not saying that you can't you can't listen to rap, but listen to what they rap about. They don't rap about going to school. That's corny. Not having sex until marriage. Getting the education. They don't talk about that. They rapping about money, hoes, and clothes. That's what they rapping about. I'm not saying it's a singular thing that's destroying the black community, but it's not helping. Sean Williams says, at the end of the day, I have to make my own choices and stand on them, good or bad, or indifferent. I want black people to unify. So, yeah. Just, what's the percentage of black folks that educated black folks? What's the percentage of black folks? I know the women is far outnumber the men as far as college graduates. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the United States of America that we don't understand. We only understand what's going on around the corner, what's down the block, what's on the corner, what happened, around the block, what happened up the way, up on the hill, we used to call it in Jersey City, my Jersey City people's out there. And we don't know what's going on in the world. Oblivious. What happened in Lyons, Chancellor Avenue? And I saw the video. These Negroes just started shooting with these weapons, high capacity, high velocity weapons. Killed a little 10-year-old boy and a 21-year-old girl just minding their business. White people don't do that. Now, white people do shoot at cops. They do shoot up schools. I mean, they got their, cross the bed too. I'm not saying that white people don't do nothing. But I don't worry about them as much as I worry about my own people. And say what you want to say about me, because it's the Ron Kelly show, and I can say what I want. It's a couple of minutes, about 2 minutes before the hour. So I went to the doctor today, got blood work done. Listen, fellas, brothers, there's too many of us dying from these diseases that are, for the most part, curable. You know what I'm saying? So I do go to the doctor regularly, had a colonoscopy in January, had the PSA test for prostate cancer. Look, did blood work today. Look, I'm trying to live. And we need to take better care of ourselves, my black brothers. We need to take better care of ourselves. So get yourself checked out. I know it's scary. I turned down 2 colonoscopies before I finally went on the third one. But the first 2, I didn't want to go. Because I didn't want to know if I was dying or not. Because that's a hard thing to face, I'm sure. But on the third try, the doctor called me again. He said, look, you need to go and you need to get this done. Not that there was anything wrong with me, but just to make sure. And so I went, and it turned out okay. The PSA test, 0.4. Very good. Highly unlikely. And then I went today again for blood work, for triglycerides and the other stuff. So we got to watch what we're doing, brothers. There's too many of us dying from this stuff that can be not necessarily cured, but early detection, you have a better chance of surviving. So for my black brothers, we need to stick together. We need to stay healthy. So we need to go out here and take them tests we scared to take like I was. Anyway, everybody, it's about 20 seconds before the hour. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Maybe once Sean Williams feel better, maybe we'll get her on the show to blow the spot up. Maybe we can get her on get her on here once she starts feeling better. Y'all be careful now. It's just that weather with it. Flu and whatnot is definitely floating around. So until next week, everybody, I want to thank you. Thank you, Sean Williams. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today on the Ron Kelly Show. And I like to say it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And that we may not have it all together, everybody, but together, we can definitely have it all. Thanks so much. I think I'm out of here.